Swami Nam.
ॐ अग्निर्ज्योति ज्योति अग्निः स्वाहा सूर्यो ज्योति ज्योति सूर्यः स्वाहा अग्निवर्चो ज्योति वर्चः स्वाहा सूर्यो वर्चो ज्योति वर्चः स्वाहा ज्योतिः सूर्यः सूर्यो ज्योति स्वाहा ओम भूर्भुवस्वदीपस्तदेवताय नमः गन्धाक्षतपुष्पाणि समर्पयामि। ततो नमस्कारं करोमि। गुरु सत्ता का आवाहन करेंगे। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः।
On everybody's behalf, I request and pray to Guru Satta. Please shower your blessings on us, Gurudev. Please shower your blessings on us, Gurudev. Please shower your blessings on us, Gurudev.
I greet every devotee of Sai Baba present here. So today, we all have gathered here for the Maha Camp of Samarpan Dhyan. To commemorate the 100 years of the Samadhi of Sai Baba, organized by the prestigious Shirdi organization. All of you are heartily welcome at this holy gathering today. The word Sai literally means the God Himself. that God who was there before us is still present and will remain forever. So that's why I shall start the program. But before that, I agreed the Sai that resides in every one of you, my dear people. To begin with today's program, we are going to talk about the story of 7 kingdoms. So a long time ago, there existed 7 small islands. And on those 7 islands, there were 7 independent kingdoms. Those kingdoms, all 7 of them had their own boundaries. They had their own laws of the land different from the other. In fact, every kingdom had a different opinion about the existence of God. Every kingdom had its own distinct way of worshipping the gods. But none of those 7 kingdoms were aware of each other's existence. It means they thought that their kingdom was the whole world and nothing existed beyond their kingdom's boundaries. They thought that their kingdom was all that existed. Basically, they thought that world was that much only. But slowly, the time kept passing. And as the time passed, they all realized that their kingdom was not the only one. And there are many other kingdoms too that exist. And eventually, they started doing businesses with people of other kingdoms. They started many trades. They started traveling too. And then gradually, their transportation systems also grew. Their modes of communication also grew. Their relations also grew stronger with each other very quickly. Then later on, I must add something to this story here. That if something happens at a very fast rate, then it would surely bring along its positive as well as negative aspects. So in this case, the growth in the businesses and relations would be positive aspects, and the negative one was that the conflicts also increased. Why did that happen? Well, each kingdom had a different system of worshipping. And the people of each kingdom had its own definition about the God. Religion, the God, these topics are very sensitive. Due to such sensitive topics only, these kingdoms started fighting with each other. The conflicts arose amongst them. They started battles and wars. And the reason behind all the problems was only the debate that whose religion is superior. Whose God is superior amongst all the gods? This was what they kept fighting about for so long. And after having observed all that, a hermit in Himalayas, using his introvasive powers, realized that the fight is not between the atheists and theists. Instead, it was amongst the theists. The people from all the 7 islands, the people of each kingdom believed in the God. The people could feel the very existence of the God. These people had respectful sentiments for the God. But even then, whether my God is superior or your God is superior, they are arguing over that. They are fighting over that. The hermit decided to visit all the 7 kingdoms. He met with the kings of all the kingdoms. He gathered all the kingdoms and their kings, taught them how to do dhyan, how to meditate. As the Himalayan hermit had introvasive powers, He made the kings experience the introversive powers too. When the kings turned introversive, then they came to know that they were fighting for no reason, that they were just souls. Now they identified themselves as souls, and after turning introversive, they realized that no person was different. All humans are equal. And after that, the kings changed the mindset of their people. They discussed it amongst their people and made them understand, and this was how their disputes got resolved at the end. In fact, this story is an old one. But even after that, this old story is still relevant to date. You see, all the nations, they have grew closer to each other through communication. In one tiny mobile phone, you may find all the information of the world and beyond. The circumstances are such due to getting closer to each other. The disputes are the same again. Just like earlier. The same disputes of religions, the disputes about the gods. For instance, if we try to study the evolution of human civilization, then we will find that the human evolution took millions of years. It has been very slow, extremely slow. Humans used to live in the forests, used to live in the caves. At the start of evolution, we had no idea what fire was. Later on, we got to know what fire is. We understood the uses of fire. This shows that slowly we progressed inch by inch. We made weapons out of cave stones. We would hunt animals with those weapons, and hunting made us survive. Slowly we learned agriculture and farming. I mean to say that humans have evolved at a very slow pace. However, few men out of many traveled in search of peace. They went to remote places. They went to places where no sign of humans were visible. Deserted places, not even a sign of other humans. At such deserted places, those people started practicing dhyana and meditation. Some of those people stayed there forever. It means that once they went, they never came back to the society. And that is why their preaching, their experiences, their knowledge never reached the society, because they never came back. They stayed in their blissful state, they stayed content in their joy. They never came back or cared to explain the society about what is a blissful state or how introversive experiences are, nothing. But out of all, few of them were like those who had a wish to always share the knowledge with others. They wanted to personally experience the divine. They wanted to find God and then share the fruit of all those experiences with other humans. Such people, such saints, such great souls joined societies, and when they met people, they shared their experiences. They shared their knowledge. Through their sermons, they told people everything. And later on, they earned great prestige in the society. Eventually, they came to know as saints. And after that, when they were gone, their godly sermons, their great thoughts, their experiences were finally given the form of a worshipping system. Well, you must observe, what do these different worshipping methods try to explain actually? All the worshipping methods say the same thing. Do the good deeds and get away from the evil ones. Do the good and get away from the evil ones. This instruction is taught by every system. Every worshipping system that you may come across will have this one similarity for sure. But sermons occur only at the outside. Nothing happens inside. Nothing happens within. Nothing changes inside humans. For example, a social worker goes on preaching that smoking cigarette is injurious to health. So the listener, while smoking, nods his head in agreement saying, "You're right, you're right." Basically, his preachings were given and heard outside only. This is exactly what happened. The sermons were given from the outside and there was nothing that changed within humans, nothing at all. Can you name any one worshipping system whose every follower is a good man? You can't. That means in every worshipping system it is about the acceptance only. If people accept, that will be good. If they don't accept, then it will be bad. These types of worshipping methods have existed for 800 years. The hermits were studying on the Himalayas. They observed that great saints and thinkers moved to the societies, then they gave sermons and preached the people. They shared their knowledge, they shared their experiences too. But such sermons, such great knowledge, could not bring any great changes in the society. Nothing at all changed within humans. No introversive journey or something began. So why not find a new way altogether? Do something different than what's been done. So he chose a different way. He adopted a different way. And his way was not preaching sermons. He realized that a lot of sermons were preached in the society, but that made no difference at all. Do good to others and don't commit sins. This was being taught by every saint everywhere. But even after that, it had no effect on the people. Nothing was improving. Then he chose a new way. And that way was the way of realization. The impression of realization. It means to drift one's own introversive powers into the minds of others. No preaching at all. Do this, don't do that. No preaching, no sermons. Don't preach anything. No instructions from the outside. Simply drift the introversive powers that you have and the other person will automatically become like you. And after that, you don't need to tell him what is good and what is not. In fact, the objective of a religion is knowledge. Knowledge about what in the world is good for you and what is bad. He gave this very knowledge through impression only. So Samarpan Dhyan is not a system. This is not a method of Dhyan. This is not a system. Quite recently, I conducted a camp of Jain monks. When the camp ended, the monks said that Swamiji, you taught us Dhyan for 8 straight days. So what are we supposed to tell the other monks if they asked us what you learned from there? As you didn't make us do anything, we didn't do anything. Also, the change that happened has actually happened internally only. So we cannot explain it to others. The realization that occurred cannot be explained to others. We felt it, but cannot explain it. Also, there is no particular method to explain all this. There is no way. So how are we supposed to tell it to others? Because there is no method. Well, in this world, there are 3 methods of Dhyan which are generally most well known. One of them is to light a candle and then concentrate on the light it emits. This is called Tratak. Several people practice this on a regular basis and using this method they push themselves towards Agya Chakra. This is how they develop the state of a clear mindset in their lives. Simply by focusing on the source of light on a regular basis, they keep doing it and eventually reach there. So it has no such method of Tratak either. Some people ask to focus the mind on the body's breathing pattern. They are inhaling, they are exhaling, they are inhaling, they are exhaling. They focus on this only. When you keep practicing the same for a very long time, then you achieve the clear state of mind. But this doesn't have that either. So it doesn't require to focus on the breathing pattern and Tratak method is also not there. Thirdly, there is Bhastika Pranayam. This is how you do Bhastika Pranayam. When you keep doing it, it would bring you to the state of zero, a state of clearer mindset. Even that method is not required here. There is no method at all. Also, you need not pay any money here. It is available for free. That is why you cannot feel pride about the fact that you perform Tratak. You cannot brag about performing Bhastika Pranayam and attaining the state of Dhyan either. You cannot brag about that also. Nor can you brag about focusing your mind on your body's breathing pattern. There is no place for the pride of bragging about paying huge fees for learning something. So, there is no possibility for the confirmation of your pride at this place. Pride about anything. Bragging about anything. You did nothing here. Nor you have to do anything at all. This is a specialty. You don't need to do anything. Don't do anything for 8 days. All you have to do is bring your bodies here for 8 days and sit quietly. Whatever is supposed to happen will happen after 8 days. You did not do anything. This is the very quality of introversive powers. They will be transferred to you automatically. You will not understand this. Let me explain it in a different way. 2 years ago, I had conducted a camp of 90 Jain monks in Ahmedabad. There were monks and nuns, all were present there. From different backgrounds they came. Be it Shwetambar or Digambar, all were present there. While the camp was still going on, their head personally wrote a letter to me at that time, saying, Swamiji, you are a great scholar of Sanskrit language and you have also read the basic religious scriptures of Jains. And I have noticed that some part of the text of your book Himalayan Samarpan Yoga is inspired by these scriptures. He had written such a letter. I kept the letter in my pocket until the camp reached its end. Once the camp finally got over, I went to meet him. And when I met him, I told him that I am not a scholar of Sanskrit language. I do not know Sanskrit. Firstly, about those scriptures, about the inspiration from the religious texts. Actually, I lived with some Jain monks for a while. I stayed with them, recited alongside. Secondly, I was not a Jain. Therefore, we never discussed over Jain religion. But the knowledge of Jain religion, whatever they knew got transferred to me automatically. I gained it. Let me explain how it happened. Look, if the student is devoted to the teacher, then all the knowledge of the teacher gets transferred to the student. The teacher need not give. The student need not take it. But all we know, that is the knowledge that a teacher can teach a student and a student can learn from the teacher. We are aware of this kind of knowledge only, but I am not talking about this knowledge. The knowledge that a teacher doesn't give to his student and a student doesn't take from his teacher, but if the student is completely devoted in the company of the teacher, then the knowledge of the teacher gets transferred to the student automatically. Even the teacher cannot stop this. This is called culture. So the knowledge that the teacher had got transferred to the student through souls. And after that, I created a detailed treatise on the Jain religion. That too, when I have no knowledge of the Jain religion, not at all. I'm not a Jain. Though whenever I was in the company of Jain monks, I stayed devoted to them. I stayed devoted and automatically the knowledge transferred to me. So this is a realization. This is an impression drifted from one holy soul to the other using the introversive powers only. This is not a method. It doesn't have any. Secondly, these hermits of the Himalayas had finally created a methodology of culture. Now they just had to transmit it further. Now the question was, how to transmit it to the people? See, the people cannot move to the Himalayas and the hermits cannot move to the society. So the question is, how to pass their knowledge further to the society? Just like that story of Kalidas, remember? That he didn't have any knowledge about anything, but his teacher gave correct answers to all his questions. Just like him, I was totally blank, completely ignorant, entirely stupid. I had no spiritual knowledge. In fact, I did not have any sort of knowledge. The hermits chose a person like me, the one who was an empty jar, who was a blank paper with nothing written on it, so that one could write whatever one wanted peacefully. I was that kind of a blank paper. Therefore, they chose one medium. A medium like me that had no information, that had no knowledge, that had nothing to be called as self-earned, that was empty. But that had purity. Also, that had a great wish to teach others. They chose such a medium. I would often ask my teacher, Gurudev, there are such great sages, also so many learned men you have as students, so why did you choose someone like me? He said that they are good. But these sages and learned men are not willing to give back to the societies they have renounced. Then also some are those kind of students who can score 100 out of 100 in mathematics, but they do not have the tiniest wish to teach it to anyone else. You are the kind of student who may score 40% marks, but you have the desire to teach maths to others. Therefore, you are useful for us and they are not. They are not useful for us. You are useful for us, and that is why you will be the medium. After making me the medium, they authorize this medium as well. In the field of spirituality, the whole spirituality revolves around this word authorized only. If teacher gives authority to a student, then after getting authorized, there is no job for the student to perform. That common student automatically becomes capable of doing great things. My teacher authorized me that way and then sent me here. And in society, so much work could be done. Also, I am not some great scholar. I have never read any religious books nor any scripture. I have not read anything, not even a single book, not a word. Never read it. However, I write huge treatises. But I don't read those treatises that I have composed either. Why don't I? Actually, when I read them, I feel like I have eaten huge amounts of sweet and I am sharing only a bit with you. I feel the guilt that I could not share even 10% of the realizations that I have experienced. So therefore, I don't read my books at all. We only have bookish knowledge. We have learned from the books only. About 20 years ago, from now when I came to Mumbai, I didn't used to conduct camps on such large levels. Camps would be of say 10 people, 20 people, a small gathering of people. So a doctor used to visit the camp. He was a learned man, also a scholar. And for 30 years, he had been writing books on meditation. Every time he used to visit the camp, he would compare my sermons with some scriptures. He would say, Swamiji, you said this, but the scripture says something different. He would always quote from the scriptures. I would always tell him that I neither read any scriptures nor any type of book. So this conversation used to happen very often. Gradually, we turned into good friends. I used to respect him a lot, regarded him a lot. Actually, he was an aged man. One day, I went up to him and said I had a request. He asked me what? I said, could you please come as an uneducated man to my house at 6 o'clock in the morning? He started laughing and asked me why did I say that? I said, please come and I'll tell you. So the next morning at 6 o'clock, he came to my house. I was meditating when he reached there. As he saw me meditating, he also started meditating. He kept meditating for about 2 hours. And when he got up after 2 hours or so, he said, Swamiji, I have been writing books about meditation for 30 years, but I never meditated so well, so deeply, like this ever before in my life. Why? I answered him that today you are not carrying the knowledge of the books, that is why. I said, look, you traveled here in your car, but did the car enter in my house? No. You entered in my house using your legs and left the car outside. In the same way, the knowledge of the books can help you understand the divine, but it can never make you experience the divine. Books are non-living things and you are living creatures. How can you think that non-living things can make you experience anything? It's impossible. Today, you are not carrying the bookish knowledge with you. Your knowledge of books are not with you. You came here as an empty jar that has nothing in it. You are here as an unlearned man. You came as a kid today. So the capacity to gain knowledge, your capability, learning power has increased by multiple folds. Your books would halt you every day, saying that this scripture says this, that scripture says that. Today you had no such hurdles. So the books can help you understand the divine, but it can never make you experience the divine. So I request you as well, no matter how many religious books you have read in your lifetime, even if you have read too many, just do not carry it here for these 8 days. Do not compare any book with any other source. I have not read any books, but I have read millions of lives instead, and I am going to tell you about those experiences. I have no bookish knowledge to give, so do not mix that bookish knowledge in this. Come as an empty jar. Come as a small kid. Come as an innocent child. Only then you will be able to benefit from me. Understand? When we see a picture of a cow in a book, What information do we get from that picture? That the cow has 2 horns, a cow has 4 legs, a cow can be black or white or brown in color. She gives us milk. We can get almost every information about the cow from a book. But if we really want some milk, then do you think that cow in the book can help us? She cannot. To get some milk, you have to go to find a living cow. It is exactly the same. Books can provide you with knowledge only. If there is a donkey and a cow on a field, then the bookish knowledge will make you capable enough to tell the difference between the donkey and the cow. That is it, and nothing else. Books can't give you much. You know, the Theosophical Society of England asks me again and again to give a lecture there. And you're not going to believe this. They have libraries on 3 of their floors. They have piles of books over there. The people who have the knowledge of so many books, they call an uneducated man like me to give lectures there. In England, I tell them, you look at the picture of the cow for a whole year and drink the milk once a year. My dear, you call me because you could not find the sense of experience in so many books. Experiencing God is not possible without a living teacher. The way you need a living cow to get milk, in the same way experiencing the God is not possible without a living teacher. Let me explain this. Let us take an example. Suppose there is a farming land near your house. That farm has a farmer. You see that the farmer cleans a spot on a regular basis. He waters the spot regularly. He manures the spot properly. He is doing that regularly. Once you find him putting a branch of a mango tree over there, the next day you find him putting a picture of mango at that spot on the land. One day you find him praying to a mango at that spot. So you go to him and ask what is going on there. So he replies that, I want a mango tree to grow at this spot. Then you say to him, foolish man, how do you want to grow a mango tree without sowing a seed in the land? Have you seen a tree growing without a seed? Will a tree grow like that? Of course not. You have this knowledge. You have the knowledge about the nature. So use this knowledge in spirituality as well. See, unless you get the seed of spirituality, there cannot grow a tree of spirituality anyhow. It's my experience of 60 years. Once you get the seed of spirituality, then after that, you can turn it into a tree by watering it, manuring it, and taking care of it on a regular basis. You can grow it into a tree, but how would it happen if you do not have a seed? Therefore, first of all, you start wishing to get the seed of spirituality. The way is same, the path is same for everyone. You simply wish. The moment you start wishing, you will find the further path, the way is opening up for you. The questions from my childhood are to date the same only in front of the younger generation after 60 years. I'm not talking about India only. Everyone in the whole world says that youngsters have no inclination towards spirituality. They have no interest in spirituality. Also, you see, we Indians blame the foreigners for this. Foreigners say it is not our fault. For example, we say the reason due to which our culture has ruined is the Western culture. Foreigners deny that. They say it's not like that, and on the contrary, the modernization has ruined our culture instead. They say their people had the quality of punctuality and now they lost it. The reason they tell behind this is only modernization. They say that sheer modernization has ruined all the cultures globally. This is modern culture, they say. This is today's culture. We call it Western culture. Those people say no, it's actually modern culture. By this, they mean even their younger generation has the same effects as ours. But have you tried to find? Have you thought about it? Did you ever think about why is this happening? It is because today's generation is a practical generation. I mean, our fathers would tell us that this is the God, He lives in a temple, we go there and so should you, so we did. But today's generation, they say that if He is God, then just prove it. Then only we'll go. Now, which father would do that? They demand practical knowledge from us. Unless they are going to experience it practically, unless they feel it, until then, they won't believe in God. So such question of life which I had, the questions due to which I stepped on this path, those are still bothering the younger generation. The youngsters are asking the same question. What is that question? Today, we are going to discuss that. I was 5 years old, very little. So I used to live with my grandparents. I lived in the maternal house. My grandpa and my grandma, that used to be my whole world. Because only these two had the maximum time to give it to me, and I too had to give it to them. My grandpa was a devotee of Hanuman. Every Saturday, he would take me with him to the temple of Lord Hanuman. Also, my grandmother, she was a devotee of Lord Krishna, so she would take me to the Krishna temple. If I would ask my grandma to take me to Hanuman temple, then she would say it's your grandpa's god. And if I would ask my grandpa to take me to Krishna temple, then he would say it's your grandma's god. You see, I had realized at the age of 5 years only that the God is all about belief and belief only. You may choose any God you like. If the gods of a husband and a wife are different, even then their world can work peacefully. Also, a Mahatma Ji used to visit our house. And my grandmother used to say that he was God's mic. The God himself speaks using him as a medium. But one day he contracted TB and got hospitalized. So I asked my grandma that you told me that he's the mic of Holy God and God himself speaks through him, but can't the God keep his mic well and safe? My grandma said that children should not speak like that. I said, Grandma, either there is no God or he is not the mic of God. You have to pick one of these. Grandma was not ready to believe in either of these. Post few days I saw, in Haridwar some people were travelling on a boat. They were going to temple. They were crossing the river, but their boat sank in the river and 27 people died on the spot. After this I asked my grandma that, Grandma, you always used to tell me that God exists, but where is he? I understand about the accidents that happen on the road, but the God doesn't save even those who were travelling to take his blessings, who were his devotees. They die on a sinking ship and he doesn't save them. Grandma didn't have answers to these questions. Then I saw that a Muslim fakir would keep standing with a peacock feather in his hand before a mosque. Whoever bowed before him or towards the mosque, he would use the peacock feather on the person to cure his disease. Fakir would never ask the caste of the needy. He would never ask the religion of the needy. Whoever came to him, say someone had a stomach pain, he would cure him. Someone had a headache, he would cure him. Someone had a diarrhea, he would cure him. And I saw a Hindu monk who would cure the disease of the people by giving them some ashes. For a headache, ashes. For stomach pain, ashes. For ear pain, ashes. Even he would never ask the caste of the patient, nor would he ever ask the religion of the needy. Then my younger self asked Grandma that how does a Muslim fakir cure Hindus and how come a Hindu monk cures Muslim people? Is the God one only? Is the Supreme Being one? Is that not why we can cure each other? Otherwise a Hindu should be able to cure only Hindus, and same with the Muslims. Grandma had no answers to give me. But Grandma always said that the God is indestructible. The God was there before, he still exists and is going to be there forever. I said, Grandma, I'm certainly going to find the God of the present. Grandma said, yes, you can do that as you are very young and I have turned very old. I won't be able to do. I had made a promise to her that the day I will find the Almighty, I will distribute him amongst everyone, Grandma. The same work, I am doing it till now. Once, it happened that I saw a priest who was sitting closely with the gods. He used to give prasad to me, and I held him in high regards as well. Then I thought that I should ask him about God. As he sits closely with God, sits right next to him, sits so near to him, he must be knowing better, must be having better knowledge. But the next day, when he paid a visit to our house for the Satyanarayan prayer, then he started an argument with my grandpa over a matter of 10 rupees. I thought if he is so greedy, then how much greedy the God would be? I mean, all the paths that were leading towards the God got closed. There was no way left. For me, there was no path to find anymore. Well, I loved my maternal grandfather immensely. Whatever money he used to earn, he would buy tiny kites with that money. He would distribute them in the street. He would buy marbles and distribute, cricket bats and distribute them too. Sharing things was his nature. He would spend a lot of time with me, a good deal of it. Suddenly, one day, my grandfather fell ill. As he was not feeling well, my maternal uncle asked me to call the doctor who lived nearby. I went to call the doctor. He did not live far away. His house was very close to ours. It was in the evening sometime when I ran to call the doctor. I found the doctor standing in his garden. He stood there while looking at the sky continuously. And his wife was staring at the sky too. She said, "Look how big is that? Look how long his tail is, right?" I heard these kind of sentences over there. I thought there was some demon in the sky. A huge thing with a long tail, they were talking like that, I fled from there and didn't stop until I sat in my grandpa's lap. Then I told everything to my grandfather, that they were speaking about something big, something that has a long tail. He said, "Don't worry. It was a comet, not any kind of a demon. It's a star, it appears, it is visible today." So I saw a comet that day. And the next day when I got up, I saw that I was sleeping in the bedroom of our neighbor's house. And they had bought too many toys for me, I remember. They said, "You need to stay here for today. We have to take care of you today, son. We will give you whatever you want, you just say it." I failed to understand as to why I was brought to their house as the previous night I had slept with grandpa. When I saw the second day, I realized that I could not see my grandfather anymore, as my grandfather had expired last night. That was why I was removed from the house. After that, whenever I asked someone about my grandfather, people would say that he went to the God's house. I said I wanted to go there too. Every Saturday he would take me to meet the God. I go there on Saturdays. I can go on my own. No. He didn't go to the temple. He went to the God's house. I said I want to go there too. They said you should not speak like that. I didn't get it. The reason of not going to the God's house, they weren't allowing me to leave. What was that about? I didn't get it. I didn't want any God or something. I simply wanted my grandpa. And that is why I wished to go there. So, why I wanted to go to the God, why I wanted to find the God? Because I wanted my grandpa. I wanted to get to my grandpa, and only this is why I wanted to know God or find God. But I never realized when did this madness brought the God in front of me and ignored grandpa. The search of God started later, and I went on to find the God. The spiritual journey started. Also, whatever people asked me to do in the name of God, I did it. Someone told me to recite Gayatri Mantra for 24,000 times, I did. Someone said perform a Havan, I did it. Someone asked me to worship, I did it. Whatever people asked, I did it all. So that one day I find God, but I never found Him, the Almighty. So let me explain it using my experiences, that one can never find God by making efforts. There is no place for efforts in the world of spirituality. Also, my realizations, my experiences are of no use to you. They are not going to help you. Like people feel pride about it. When you spot a plane in the sky, you can see it for a while unless it disappears, and again there is nothing in the sky. The same way, when the medium goes away, it takes the way of the medium with itself. The path moves when the medium moves. One can move with the medium only, understand. Today you are here with me. You can move, you can come, we can go there. But there is no guarantee after going there because the way will not be there anymore. But yes, you may find a direction. I move towards this direction, you may go there too, but there would not be a way then. The way is valuable in the present time only. It is about the present only. Therefore, when you will step towards gaining experiences, I mean to say, when you will gain experiences, then you will get different realizations. The realizations from the books, the experiences mentioned in the books, can give us a little direction only, but it is not necessary that you will get the same experiences. So today let us try to understand the message that the Sainath of Shirdi spread about the God, about the Supreme Being. Let us decode his message. So to understand his teachings, we have to go to his era only. The incidence is from his times. One day, so it happened in the morning that the Sainath of Shirdi was sitting peacefully in the Dwarkamai. He was sitting with his left leg straightened. He also had a bandage wrapped on his thumb's wound that he had gotten just a day before. His right leg was folded and he was sitting being supported by a pillow. Few ladies were creating rangoli outside, and some kids were also playing there. There, a devotee, while sitting near the incense, was trying to collect some ashes of the incense in a pot of his. And two farmers who came from a village nearby had kept some fruits of their farmland before the Sainath of Shirdi as the holy offering. A gardener had placed one basket full of indigenous roses near the left foot of Sainath, using the sentience releasing from the feet of Sainath. The fragrance of these roses had spread all over. The environment was filled with peace and happiness. At this moment, some young men came to meet the Sainath from the neighboring village. They touched Sainath's feet. Great Sainath raised his arm and blessed them by touching their heads with his thumb and gave them good wishes. Then the young man said, Baba, we are leaving on a pilgrimage in the search of God. We are here to take the permission from you. The Sainath of Shirdi said that it is a great thing that you are going on a pilgrimage. Pilgrimage should be made in young age ideally. But it is wrong that you are leaving to search the God. You have to search for the one who is missing. But the God is not missing. He is residing inside you. God is in you. And if you will search someone that lives inside you, then you will get disappointment only. You may spend your whole life in his search, even then you won't find God. You won't be able to find him. The God lives inside you only. Here he is here. The God lives here. While pointing his finger at his heart, the God lives here. So don't try to find him outside. Don't search him outside. He gave this message, this teaching to those three men. In our lives, we keep looking for God outside. In the statues sometimes at the holy places. We search for them in some sage or in some guru. Till the time our search stays an external one, we will never be able to find the God. Also, your attempts and efforts will not help you find the God. This is my personal experience. I tried a lot. I made many efforts. I did all the things I was told to do. But at the end, I found only disappointment. I did not find God. I did not find Almighty. And when I found God, then it was only through prayers. Only the prayers. When you're done making all the efforts, because one cannot find the God using this human body. When all the attempts of the body cease finally, then the man surrenders. Then a human steps towards prayers. Then he steps towards praying. And only prayer can help you find God. Attempts will not work. And the God does not exist outside. The God is living inside you. He is in you only. You just need to get inside. Just need to get inside. When you look inside, you will realize that the God is inside you only. All your external search will come to an end. All your wandering will end. All the turmoil will cease, and you will attain a calm mind and a stage of calmness in your life. And the search for God will finally stop there. The Guru powers have decided on celebrating 2018 as the year of the saviors. Means that the Guru has an uncommon sympathy for the saviors. So an occasion of collectivity has been prepared for the saviors. Who are they? Policemen are, military men are, the Navy men are, Air Force 2, CRPF, all types of saviors fall in that category. There was once a yug in which the person had huge arms and massive legs was considered as the most powerful, the strongest, and the supreme one amongst all. That yuga came and ended. Then the other yuga came. This one is the yuga of intelligence. The present yuga, I mean. Strength has no use in the yuga of intelligence. Even the weakest man of all can kill a very strong man without making efforts. Because he got such gadgets now. He got such weapons now. He got such arms now. Means that the yuga of power has ended. This is yuga of intelligence. But even the yuga of intelligence is about to end. Everything has an expiry date. That thing stops existing after that. The coming yuga will be the yuga of mind's power. So the country whose army or the country whose savior will have strong minds, that very nation will turn out to be the best. So if you wish to create a great nation, then strengthen the minds of the armed forces. Walking in a sink is not enough now. This parade is not enough. Parade may help to give a balance to your body, but it won't help your mind, not the mind. Saviors need to start meditating now. They need to meditate now. This year is being celebrated as a Savior's Year. In many police stations, this camp is getting broadcasted online in many police stations too. They are watching it online because we cannot tell everyone to come here as there is not enough space. I deliberately sent a message there. Don't come here. Watch it online, on the internet. Watch from there. See, if there is any collective event, then we just need to get involved in it. So all you need to do is to get involved. You forget it. Which designation you have, which post you are at. Please forget all that. Which officer you are, what's your position. I don't even know titles of the designations, neither the police nor the military. But whichever position you are at, just forget your designation and get involved in Dhyan. This is the perfect opportunity to start with that. To enter a collectivity. And if here too you will keep your post in your mind, your position in mind, then you won't get involved. You will not enjoy the collectivity. And also, discipline won't help here. Sentiment will help here. I had conducted a program at a police training center. The experience I got is weird. Attention, at ease, sit down, everyone, will meditate, now meditate. Everyone sat like this. God, they were made to sit for meditation that way. I said that is not how it works. I asked the officer to take his leave from there first of all. Then they will be able to meditate. You don't force them. Discipline doesn't work in this. Forget for a while that you are in the police. Forget for a while that you are in the military. Just for a while, you are just a human. See, if you will bring your position along, that you are a policeman, then you will bring the experiences too. Then the responsibilities come, then the duties too, then you will bring all the professional troubles with you. So now just forget your positions for a while. And I am talking about 8 days only. For how long? During 8 days, say the maximum time would be 16 hours. These 16 hours will change your world completely. You don't need to do anything at all. Just keep sitting like an idle man, nothing else. And that's it. When I am not doing anything, then how would you do something? Trust me, you don't need to do anything. In the spiritual world, there is no place for efforts at all. Let me explain it to you. So this is our solar pulse, this is lunar pulse, and this is the middle pulse. If you will try to do anything, if you will make any efforts, then you will enter the solar pulse. Because all the efforts can be made by the body. Therefore, do not make any attempts. Do not make efforts. So what you need to do is simply, whatever I'm blabbering about here, I will keep doing this for say 2 to 3 hours daily. There is no importance in all this. What I'm saying has no importance at all. Words are medium. For transmission of impressions, for the transmission of energy. For the transmission of vibrations, just medium. Try looking with an introversive way. What is happening in my backbone? What effects am I getting on the heart? What effects am I getting in my head? How is my breathing affected? What am I feeling in my hands? What am I feeling in my legs? Where am I getting the itching from? Look, you know what happens? The biggest enemy is your own body. It will stand against you. Even if it didn't itch earlier, it will now. Every resistance is yours only. Make an observation of this. Oh God, you have seen it all. You have seen it all. The whole life you looked at the world. Now look at yourself once. From the time you are born, you have been looking at others. From the womb of the mother till today, we have been focusing at others only. Look at yourself sometime. Now enough of looking at the exterior world. Now stop looking at everything else and start self-introspection. What am I experiencing? What am I feeling? What changes, what shifts are happening inside my body? About 10 years ago from now, there happened a camp in Rajkot. In that camp of Rajkot, Red Cross had set up a camp. They checked the BP of people. They checked the diabetes of people. And then after 8 days, they checked the BP and diabetes again. And then results of 85% of the people came good. Why so? Think about it now. Why so? It happened so because every day they sat for 2 hours amongst thousands of people, those people who were not thinking. You are also in the state of thoughtlessness. Then automatically their vibes, their effects will reach you as well. A camp has been set here as well. So go and get your diabetes checked today, get your BP checked today and see the results after 8 days yourself. Another specialty is that in Rajkot, the people, the seekers who shared their experiences, that their BP got changed, their diabetes got changed, I had never ever seen them. What are you thinking? Are you visible to me? No, only darkness is in front of me. I can't see anything. I can't see a single person, but I have been just talking. So the people I have had not even seen, even they experienced change. Even they felt the change. This is simply the effect of companionship. With whom you are sitting. You are not just sitting in my companionship. I am not alone. With me, I have the companionship of the millions of holy and pure souls of the whole world. And it is not just the number of people in this ground. This is getting broadcasted around the whole world. They are watching it everywhere. They are watching it in India, in the abroad. Millions are involved in this today. So you got the companionship and the very collectivity of millions of the people. And while doing all this, when you turn introversive, when you try to look at the inner self, then the inner journey gets started. Understand, I mean to say, it's an impression transmitted from a holy soul to the other holy soul. Now, what is the use of this meditation from the point of law, from the point of administration? Tell us. There was a road in Kolkata. A cart of 4 horses was prohibited on that road. It means that no one was allowed to take cart of 4 horses there. But there was a poor zamindar of a village who did not know about this kind of rule. He took the cart of 4 horses there and was caught. The traffic police caught him. They put him behind the bars and then confiscated his cart too. Next day, he was presented before the court and they read his charge sheet. Before that, he had called his lawyer friend over there. The lawyer came, he checked the cart, he checked him. After examining everything, he said fine. He made him believe that he would get him released from the court tomorrow. Next day in the court, the charge sheet on him was read that only the viceroy had the permission to bring a cart of 4 horses on that road. And as he brought a cart of 4 horses, there he broke the law. So he deserves a lawful punishment. Then the lawyer of Zamindar made a request to the judge. He said, I want to request you to please allow me to bring that horse cart inside the court. So the request was granted and the horse cart was brought. And then he requested the judge to leave the chair for a while and come down near the cart. Please bend down and look closely. Instead of 4 horses, these are 2 horses and 2 mares, so the law didn't break. So when the judge observed the cart, there were 2 horses and 2 mares only. So the judge released that zamindar and he made changes in that law saying, it is prohibited to travel using a horse or mare cart on this road. And the zamindar got released. This is not a story. It is a depiction of our law system. First thing is that the law is always old. By old, I want to say that in every 20 years or say 25 years, a young lawyer comes and finds the loopholes in it. So the law system that we are talking about is created by a human being only. And only a human breaks the law. A human finds many ways out of it. So this law system created by humans can never improve humans. See, only you can improve yourself. If you do not want to break the law, then just do not break it. If your soul gets the control over your senses, if you get the sensibility, then you should not break the law, then you are completely safe. Otherwise, anyone will break the law, he will find a loophole in it and then he will be saved. Therefore, no matter how many laws you make, they will turn old after 20-25 years. This is what happens. And yes, there is huge difference in knowledge. Like between North and South Poles, my own companions, they are magistrates and judges who tell me they don't know how to send an SMS. The magistrate doesn't know how to send an SMS and the criminal, they run so many businesses through phones and computers. So the criminal is wiser. So when there is so much difference in the knowledge, what will law system do? This requires only meditation. The law system is insufficient for society's betterment. The need is to awaken the consciousness of the people. One willfully decides not to break any law, then he won't break it. So if you will do meditation in a regular routine, then you will certainly get the self-control. After that, what should be done and what should not be done? The knowledge about this will come from within. That is going to be the case. Let's say you go to learn shorthand. And after reaching there, you come to know that you don't know English. So the teacher would put the shorthand aside and teach you English first. And keep shorthand for later. In the same way, Dhyan is a far cry yet. Look, you did not do anything. You just have to come here and sit for a while. Using the system of commitment and the system of target, I will slowly and steadily, slowly and gradually help you reach the place you wish to. To reach such a spot where the dhyan will happen on its own. But for all that, see, I told you earlier, it's an impression that is transmitted from one holy soul to the other, an impression. But for that, you have to turn into a holy soul, dear people. And what do you need to do to turn into a holy soul? You just have to make yourself feel that you are a soul. Let's say there is a line and it's about 6 inches long. You don't need to cut it, don't break it, don't tear it. But if we just draw one bigger line in front of it, so automatically the line gets shortened. So what do you need to do? You do not need to change your body language. No need to quit anything, break anything, leave anything. Simply increase the sense of self and the sense of body will decrease on its own. A question must have arose in your mind. That what all do I need to quit in order to learn this meditation? What all I need to sacrifice? How many fasts to be observed? How many scriptures do I need to read? How many amulets do I need to wear? Well, you don't need to do anything. You know, what happens actually, the God accepts you the way you naturally are, okay? Therefore, there is no condition here, no sermons here, nor any rules. There is nothing. Whichever kind of a person you are and your abilities have reached here, done. Incapable man can never reach the darbar of Sai Baba. If I say that the people who smoke a cigarette should get up and leave, then 10% of the people would leave. After that, I say that people who drink alcohol should get up and leave, then 15% of people would leave. 75% are left. If I say that those who eat non-veg should get up and leave, then more 25% will leave. And if I say that people who lie should get up and leave, then this whole ground will turn vacant. If there will be no one here, then who will hear me? You drink alcohol, continue. If you smoke, then continue. You eat meat and flesh, don't quit it. Whatever bad habits you have, you may continue with them. There is no stalling. You may continue. Continue everything. Meanwhile, I am here in your life to introduce meditation. I will not make you quit alcohol. I will not make you quit smoking. I will not ask you any of that. Do everything you want. Just attach the God with everything you do. Ultimately, the moment your inner God awakens, automatically you will come to know about what is good and what is bad for you. You will understand. I told you, right, that there is no preaching in this. I have already seen enough results from preaching to the people. So many people gave sermons. What happened then? No difference at all. Therefore, there is no use of sermon. You know what happens? Sermon has this nature. You do this and don't do that, and you do this and don't do that, and while doing this for a long time, eventually these are all the systems to awaken your inner soul and a system of worship. But the time it requires is so much that even if our whole life gets spent, even if we die, our soul doesn't awaken. In the method of Samarpan Sanskar, there is nothing like that. Straight away your lantern gets lit in this case, and when the lantern gets lit, you become the very first person to spot what kind of marks are there on your glass. As those are your sins only. It's your mistake, your misdeeds. The nearer they are, the closer they are to you. They are not to anyone else. So your mistakes, your misdeeds will be visible to you before anyone else. The first step towards meditation. If you make the very first progress in meditation, then the sign of the progress will be that you will be able to see your own flaws. Because your flaws are the closest to you, nearest to you. So I will not ask anything, do this, don't do that, don't do anything. All you need to do is sit here for a while, then slowly and steadily you will see the change. Secondly, there is a simple mantra in that. Simple mantra. Using this mantra as a medium, we will meditate today as well, and then very slowly and steadily we are going to increase the time. You know, when I was little, about 5 years old, and not just me, you may ask this to any little kid of that age. He will talk about such kind of things, he will explain such experiences that never ever happened in his life. Let's say there is a kid who must have died due to some water source in his previous birth, so he'd be scared of water even when he has had no experience with water yet. So the little 4 or 5 year olds have the impressions of previous birth, effects of previous birth, the influence of previous birth, he remembers it all. So it used to bother me from when I was 5 years old. I am a holy soul, I am a pure soul. I mean, I'm not an average human, I'm a pure soul. I always have felt it. Exactly like that. And the same feel was given the form of this mantra. See, this is why you know it is a simple term. There is nothing hidden in this at all. I am a holy soul, I am a pure soul. So simple words. But behind this mantra is my practice of 65 long years. It has the collectivity of millions of people from the world coming from different castes, different religions, different countries, people with different languages, all used to perform meditation. So the moment you will get involved, you will also get same realizations, same experiences, what changes come, what type of changes, make an inspection of it. Now sit with your back straightened. Then put your right hand on your head, stop, keep the left hand in the front. Once you put it on top, then keep it in the middle. Now press that gently, don't press it too hard. Press it gently and then circulate it clockwise 3 times, the way I'm doing it. Now just close your eyes slowly and bring your hand down slowly and steadily. Nothing much. Now just recite the mantra 3 times with me. I am a holy soul. I am a pure soul. I am a holy soul. I am a pure soul. I am a holy soul. I am a pure soul. Now keep your mind on the head stop and meditate for 10 minutes. Greetings. From tomorrow onward, sharp at 7 pm, we will start this program. Tomorrow we'll target Muladhara Chakra. When the God gave birth to us, then to keep us well balanced, to keep us stabilized, He gave earth elements too. The more we connect to earth, the more stable we get, the more balanced we get. And only by connecting with the earth, how can we cure a lot of our diseases? We will experience this tomorrow. Greetings.